Hi guys, welcome to Salesforce Troop, and in this video we are going to build our front end of our application, and that is majorly a check-in form. So before building, let's go and see how our form looks like. So if I looked at the deployed version, here we have a heading. COVID-19 safe check-in form is the heading. We have a card. The card is at the center. Then we have a description. We have three images. Then we have our three fields: name, email, and mobile, and a button. So we have to build everything in this video. So let's go and start building this. So I'll go to my Visual Studio Code. I'm inside my app.html, and just make sure you have your server running. So my server is running, and in the previous video we already integrated our SLDS library and everything is working fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start creating the card. So let's create the card first. This is white color one, and for that I'll go to my design system library, and first we'll create search for card. So let's search for card. It gives us the card component, and there are different types of card. Just take the base card structure, we will modify it later on. So I click on show code, and I'll just copy this out as it is. I'll go to my VS Code, and for time being I'll close this out, and I'll just replace everything with the card. And in the card, let's put some comments as well so that it's easy for us to understand. There is a header tag, so heading will go here. Then we have body that has class SLDS media underscore underscore body. I'll say body will go here, and then there is a footer, and I'll say footer will go here. Okay, so we place this body tag wrongly, so I'll cut from here. This is not the body, this is a media body. We have a body here, card body. So you need to look for a card body basically. Okay, I'll just write card body will go here, card footer will go here, and card heading will go here. So we have the card, and from here what we're going to do is we'll clean up little bit. So whatever is inside the header, I'll just replace or remove everything between the header tag and body tag. I'll keep the things as it is, and from footer as well I'll remove everything, or from card body as well we can remove. So let's say hello, or we can say just simply I am heading. Within the header tag here I'm saying I am body, and in the footer tag I'm saying I am footer. And let's go to our running server or to project and see if it's loading anything on the screen, and you can see that it's loading immediately our card, and the card is not yet center aligned. It's taking the full stretch, but heading is coming, body is coming, and the footer is coming. So let's bring this card to a center, and for that we're going to use the grid system. So I'll go to SLDS library and look for a grid. We'll take the grid, and here we'll go for a grid with some sizes. So here we can look further, and if we find some better one we can look for it. There are different types of sizes here. You can see it has 8 column width and like that, or any other one that fits our or suits our need we can look into, but I can go with any of them. It's totally fine with us. So I'll just pick the basic one. I'll pick it from the top only. So the first one, this is the first one, we'll go with this one. I'll copy the first card. I say SLDS grid and wrap our component, or basically I paste it here first. We have a grid, and then in the grid we have each column. So in our case it's only one column, So we'll replace this. Now what we want is we want our grid to be aligned center. If I go here, we can look for center class, and you can search that. I already know the classes, so I'll use that directly. And to use the center class, you need to type slds grid align center. So it takes the content to the center. Then we are looking for wrapping the content if it's on the mobile screen. So I'll say slds wrap. That is a class for wrapping the content. And here this slds call is complete total width for all the screens, but we want different sizes on different screens. So we'll say slds on large screen size take 6 column out of 12. So by default is a 12 column grid on the screen. We are saying if you are on a large screen, take the 6 column. We go further and say if you are on a medium size screen, that is tablet, take 8 column. And I can wrap this here so that we can able to read this out. And if you are on any other screen, take the 12 column. So we'll say slds on any size take 12 of 12. So now our grid is ready, and here we'll place our card. I guess these classes can come here, so I'll take it back in the single line. And here we have our grid ready. And now I'll put a comment, card will come here, and let's move our complete card inside that grid that we have built just now, and I'll paste it. So let's go to the screen and see how our grid looks like. And now you can see that our card is coming to the center, and I don't want my card to touch to the top, so I can give some padding. And here you can search for padding class, and padding class is very simple and most commonly used in designing. So you just need to type slds, p stands for padding, then you need to give the direction, top, bottom, margin, left, and after that you need to define the size. So let's go, we'll follow the same pattern. On the parent, we'll give a class slds, p stands for padding. We are looking for around padding, which means on the all four side we are looking for padding, and we'll say x hyphen large. So we are looking for large size padding. And now if we go back, now you see our card is coming to the center. So our card is coming to the center, and not center exactly, but from the top horizontally it's center and vertically it's not. So now our card is there. Now let's build the heading, and heading is COVID-19 safe check-in form. I'll copy this text and go back, and under the heading, that is a header tag, I'll put a div tag and paste the text COVID-19 safe check-in form. We'll go back and see it's coming, and we are looking for text to be aligned center, so we can use the same class slds grid align center. So we'll say here we can copy this class that we have used on the top, I guess somewhere. No, so the next class is slds grid align center, and let's see if it's taking us to the center. Now our content is center. I'm looking for a bolder text, so I'll go to the library and look for a class text. So it gives us the font text basically, and I'm looking for a large size. So on the right side I'm clicking heading with large size. I copy this class and paste to our div, and let's go back and see our heading. And now our heading is coming. Now our next task is to bring this description, and this description we are going to place in the our body. So let's go to VS Code, and here what we're gonna do is we'll write a p tag. P is for paragraph tag, and we'll paste our content, and let's go and see if it's coming properly or not. and it's coming too big here, but we'll fix it out. We can look for the class of the text with the small, and if I click on heading size small or body size small, we can look for this class. We can copy this and see if it looks okay. Otherwise we can write CSS anytime. And along with this, let's see first, it's still not small, so we can write our custom CSS. As it looks like I zoomed the screen, that's why the font is bigger. So if I go back to 100%, the form is correct. But now what I want is, I want this text not to start from the starting. It should be center aligned and it should not take much space. So what we'll do is we'll write our first CSS here, custom CSS, that is under the app.css. And I'm going to delete everything that is inside the app.css, and I'll create one class form description. I'll say text hyphen align to be center. So when we reduce the size, the text always should be in the center. I want the maximum width of the text should be 550 pixel. You can arrange according to your design needs. And I'll say margin auto, so it always be equal size from the left hand side. And we'll use this class inside our app.html to our paragraph. And let's go and see. Now it's wrapping our text. I can zoom it a little bit so that it's visible on your screen. Now our text is there. Now we are looking for the images. So let's go and add the images. So I have 3 images, and as in the starting I mentioned, all our static things will go inside the resources. So I'll add the 3 here. I'll go to reveal in Finder, and here I can paste it, and you can see I pasted 3 images under the outside the resources. I'll just move them inside the resources quickly. I'll drag it out, move, and now I have 3 images: mask woman, remote workman, remote work woman. And now we are going to call this inside our HTML. So let's add image tag below the paragraph tag. Inside the body only we are going to add the image, and calling an image is very simple. We need to say image source. We have to give from where the image is coming, and it's coming from the resources / remote -work -man.svg, and we are using svg images. And then after that we have to define the alternative text that is important from accessibility point of view as well. Working man during COVID situation. So I add the alternative text as well. I'll close this, and now I'm going to see how this image look like. I'll go to our screen, and it's looking very big. And to handle this, what we can do is we can go back to our app.css, and we'll say all the images in our component should have height 125 pixel. And let's go on the screen. Now immediately you can see that our image is reduced. Likewise, I need 3 more images or 2 more images now. So I'll just copy the tag and paste it just below. And I already have other 2 images in my resources. So I'll say resources, the second image is remote work woman. I'll say woman and working woman during COVID situation, and third one is mask woman and working woman in mask. Anything, any meaningful description you can give, and we can go and see. Now the all 3 images are touching each other, and in the one side I want it to be spread across. For that we're going to use the SLDS grid again, and I will write grid, and here we have a class align spread. So if you go, there are a couple of examples, and I'll show you which example will help us. We want our column to be spread equally, and I'm just scrolling down. So here all three are together, and here it's aligned spaces, but we are looking for this our first one to on the left hand side and the third one on the right and the second one in the center. So I'll take this class, or we'll take this wrapper, all wrapper, and we'll go back, and here I'll just wrap my all images inside this div. So I'll just cut this and paste it here, and let's go back, and now you can see our images are aligned properly, but I want some space in between. So either I can give some padding to the description, padding bottom. So let's go and give some padding bottom, either here or either both places is fine. So we can give to this wrapper itself, I'll say SLDS padding top of medium size. Let's see if medium is enough, and still we can go with large, that is 24 pixel. Now it's enough for us, and now our image is ready, our text is, description is ready, heading is ready. Now we have to create the form, that is basically 3 input field, and for input we'll go here and search input, and here we can pick up first one and just copy this, and we'll come back to our project, and below this we'll create a form. I'll say form, and I'll put a comment, first input field, that is name, and here I'll paste that code that we have copied. Okay, and here we need to change few things. We need a input label to be name, and then ID will be something dynamic, that will take care. For time being we'll keep this as it is. Then placeholder, if you want we can add, if you don't want we can remove. We want the required field to be true, and then we are looking for a label. Label is already a name. Similarly we'll copy this and paste it below, and we'll say second input field, then that is email, and if it is email we need to change the type to email. We'll change the heading to email, and then we'll copy and paste it below again, and we'll say third input field is mobile, and here we'll pass the type number, and here we'll change the ID to 3, here we'll change the ID to 2, and here we'll say mobile. So right now we are using this code as it is, and let's go on the screen and see how it looks like. And let's refresh this, and it's failing because it's saying invalid first character tag name. So let's go and fix this out. If I look at the error in the console, it's showing some error saying you don't need to pass boolean value to required. So we'll change the required, because by default it will not pass, and the attribute is present, it means it's a true. We'll replace this and see again, and now you can see that our form is rendering with all 3 fields. That's good, and we will fix the styling when we build a reusable component for all these 3 forms. And I assume we don't need a footer here. If you want we can add button, but I don't think we need this footer, so we can remove this footer. So let's remove this footer, because we will place our button inside the form, and there is a reason for that I'll tell you. Let's create the button now, and we'll say form button will come here, and below this we'll create the button. First I'll create a wrapper that gives the button some padding. I'll say SLDS padding top medium, and I'll close this div, and after this we'll create a button. You can copy the button from the SLDS. I know how to do that. Just make sure while you're creating the button inside the form, make the type submit, so that form automatically knows on click of this button we need to call the on submit method of form. That's the important part here, and that was the reason why we are bringing the button inside the form, not on the footer we are placing, so that we can call the on submit method automatically instead of separate method. And here I'll give the class slds card and footer action, and along with this I'll want to this button to look like a button properly, so I'll give a class slds button. Along with that I need a blue color button, so I'll give slds button underscore brand, and I want to be in the center line, so I'll say margin auto, and inside this button I'll type check-in. And right now margin, I will make it small I, and margin auto is not a slds class, so we need to create this, and we'll add a class here margin auto, and we'll say margin auto. So let's go back to screen and see. Now our button is available in the center and check-in is coming. It's of blue color. Now our next task is when we type something and we'll submit the check-in. If I click, if you see, if I'm clicking it automatically doing the validation, it's a required field because we have already added the required attribute to our form. And when we type something and click on check-in, we want the data to print in our console, so let's do that. And here what we're going to do is on change or on key up, we can say we'll add that handler, and input field will say, I'll just wrap this out so that it's make it easy to read. And for the first input I'll say on key up, and I'll say this name form change. This method will get called. Similarly I'll add it to all three input fields, so second and third. Now whenever we type something, this method gets called up, and now we have to create this method inside our app.js, and I'll create this method. For creating the method you just need to create a function with that name, and here whenever we type something an event will come, and when the event will have name and value. So we'll say we will extract the name and the value from event.detail, and this is object restructuring, and we'll console these details. So I'll say console, this is a shortcut to print label and value in the form of object, so it will print when we type something. And just make sure we have a name property, if not we'll add that because name property is important in our case. So we'll go to the first input field and add a name property, and we'll give the name property as name capital. Then we'll go to a second input and we'll add the name property with saying email with E capital, and we'll go to third and we'll add this mobile with M capital. So now we have added the name property, and on key up, every time you type something it will call our form change handler and it will print something in our console. So let's go and verify that, and to check the console, right click, go to inspect, go to console. I'll zoom this out. Here the console, and now let's type something John, and if I'm typing it's not receiving anything right now. Let's look what's happening, and here it should be event.target, not detail, event.target. Let's go and try it again. John, you can see as soon as each character you are typing, it's giving us the name property, which is nothing, it's just a field on which you are typing and giving the value you are typing. and if I say nik@gmail.com, you can see immediately it's print. You are typing on the name property email and the value you've entered nik@gmail.com, and if I say some number, we'll get the number property. So we are receiving our all the values. Now we want to store this value in the form of object so that we can send it to the server as well. So first we'll create the structure of our data, and I'll say default data is name, that is initialized with empty value, then email, and make sure the name or the keys basically, or the properties I'm giving to the object is the same property I have given to the name here. That will help us reducing the code. I'll show you that. Then we have an email, then we have a mobile. We are initializing everything with the empty string. Then we'll say we want to pass the data. No, we'll go with only these three property, and we'll create a local property here. Local property means you just use that property inside the component only, it's not exposed to other components. And here I'll create a property form data, and that is initialized with the default data. And whenever we change something, we'll update this form data, and to update that, what we're gonna do, we'll use the help of spread operator, in which we'll say this dot form data equal to the spread of this dot form data, and whenever the name property comes, update that with value. And the spread operator works in a way, whatever the key on the right hand side of the spread operator, it will override on the left hand side. So initially name is empty, and suppose you type John, so next time the object will become like this, name with the John. So now it's done, it's updating the form. And now we'll go and create our form handler that will be on click of submit we will call. And for that we'll go to HTML, and to the form tag we are going to say on submit call check-in handler, and we'll create this method as well. Let's put the comments here as well. Method for keep, or method on form change, and method on submit. Okay, so as soon as you submit, what we'll do is we'll type something, and then we're going to print here console.log will print the form whatever we have filled. And I don't want my form to get submitted automatically, or means refresh the page, so I'll say event, and here to prevent that default functionality, I'll say event.prevent default. And now let's go and let's remove this console, and let's go to our app and see if it's working or not. So I'll say John at gmail.com, and the mobile number is 123456789, and let's hit check-in. As soon as I hit check-in, you can see that I'm getting the form that we have submitted, email, mobile, and name, everything in my console. So now our form is looking good, it's almost ready. We'll build in the next video a reusable component, there we will fix the styling of the form. And now once we click check-in, we will take these details and send to the server that we're going to build in the upcoming videos, and then we'll store these details. So now that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.